Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order for the San Mateo County LAFCo Commission. And I will now turn it over to Angela to do what she needs to do. Angela?
Thank you, Chairman. For those attending the meeting on the Zoom video conference, we will use the raise hand feature in order to organize any public comments. During the general public comment period and for each item on the regular agenda, I will ask those members of the public who wish to comment to click the raise hand feature to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak and *6 to unmute once called upon if calling by phone. When you hear your name called, I will prompt you to unmute your microphone and inform you that you may begin speaking. You will have 2 minutes. Written comments that were submitted in advance will be acknowledged by staff during discussion of the appropriate agenda item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Next item on the agenda, I'm just pulling it up here, is thanks. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lohman.
Here.
Commissioner Horsley.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin. I just got an email from Commissioner Martin, and so I will open it after roll call. She might be attempting to join the meeting, but I will notify the commission. Commissioner Rarbach.
Here.
Commissioner Slocum is absent. Vice Chair Draper, she has not joined yet. And Chairman O'Neill.
I'm here.
And alternate members present, we do have Mr. Jim O'Neill with us. And staff present, we have Executive Officer Rob Bartoli, Legal Counsel Timothy Fox. And as I mentioned, Chairman, give me 1 second. I do see Commissioner Martin has joined us. You can give her 1 second.
We do have a quorum, correct?
Correct, and with if Commissioner Draper not present, but alternate Commissioner Jim O'Neill present, we can promote him then to a voting member for this meeting.
And Commissioner Martin?
Yes, here.
Awesome, and I will now promote alternate member Jim O'Neill, and I would also like to reflect for the record that Council Member Diana Reddy has joined us. So Jim, if you accept the request to become a panelist. Welcome. So Commissioner Jim O'Neill.
Thank you.
So thank you,
Now-
we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I just want to be sure it was noted that we had a quorum, that's all. Okay, item number 2. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak on items not on the agenda?
Thank you, Chairman. I do not see any virtual hands raised for items not on the agenda.
Okay, and then do we have any written comments that need to be mentioned?
We did not receive any written comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. I'll close the public comment section. Moving on to item 3. This is the consent agenda, and it would be an approval of the action minutes for September 21st. Resolution to make findings relating to remote meetings under the Brown Act and time extension for LAFCo file number 19-03, proposed annexation of 252 Club Drive, unincorporated San Mateo County, assessors parcel number 049-050-050. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. So,
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lohman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rarbach,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill, Jim O'Neill,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
and Chairman O'Neill.
Oh.
Sorry about the confusion.
Sorry about that. Why don't you just call Big O'Neill Little O'Neill there, you know?
Thank you, Chairman. Your motion passes.
Okay, next item is item number 5 is the adoption of the municipal service review for the Westboro Water District. Staff?
Thank you, Chair. We'll actually take item 4 first, and that's the adoption of the municipal service review for the city of South San Francisco.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. I got messed up there. Okay,
Item-
first
yeah,
we'll
we're-
have item number 4, the adoption of municipal service review for the city of South San Francisco. Rob?
Perfect. Thank you, Chairman O'Neill. So yes, before the commission today is the adoption for the municipal service review for the city of South San Francisco. Municipal service reviews, as the commission is familiar with, are tools to help LAFCo, the public, and other agencies to better understand service, governance, and delivery and evaluate those options. And municipal service reviews are intended to support spheres of influences. The city of South San Francisco was incorporated in 1908. It's a full city service that provides law enforcement, fire, parks and recreation, library, transportation, streets, stormwater, solid waste, wastewater, with the exception of the Westboro neighborhood. And this is the first municipal service review for the city. Just to highlight a couple of key issues similar to what we have seen in the draft version of this that the commission saw at this September meeting. The city, there's a large unincorporated area of Country Club Park and the California Golf Club. The city of South San Francisco is a logical provider for services within Country Club Park. The city should evaluate potential annexations of those unincorporated areas within their sphere of influence. The city overlaps with the Westboro Water District, and the city's in a rather strong financial position and has a healthy reserve. Just very briefly, this is again the map of the city of South San Francisco, along with those unincorporated areas shown in lighter yellow, which is the Country Club Park neighborhood and the California Golf Course. Just briefly on the updates for this final municipal service review, there were several minor updates that were made between the draft circulation and the final version based on comments received from the city. That included an update regarding the city's general plan, which was recently adopted, which will include action to conduct a study considering the long-term planning for the unincorporated spheres of influence, which is anticipated to be completed in the next 6 to 10 years per the city. The city's policy allowing individual annexations and a request for waivers of protest in the future for annexation to the cities. The master plan for annexation that the city is developing, and if demand for those sewer services continue, working with those applicants towards annexation. There was additional information included in the service review regarding a 2015 grand jury report that recommended that the city of South San Francisco, the city of Daly City, along with Westboro Water District, discuss the possibility of Daly City or South San Francisco assuming Westboro Water's district's water services. And at that time, and the city continues that it does not desire to become a water utility. Currently, water services in the city of South San Francisco are provided by Cal Water. And there was also additional language about the Harbor District and the city relationship, and that LAFCo supports the continued engagement and working relationship between the city and the Harbor District related to the operations of the Oyster Point Marina. Very briefly, I do have the full recommendations and determinations for each section, but I'll touch on them briefly unless the commission has a specific question to them. In most cases, that we have a few recommendations on capacities and the financial ability of the city. We have mostly around the general plan and a future plan for annexation study, which the city now has incorporated through its general plan. In discussing again with shared services and for accountability and structure, the discussion about potential governance opportunities with Westboro Water District, whether that be dissolving of the district and the city taking over functions, or the movement of certain services to the city or other agencies. And again, this is a map showing the city boundaries along with the Westboro Water District as they overlap. For the public outreach and comment period, we did have a comment period that was closed on October 17th. We held a virtual workshop for both municipal service reviews for both South City and the Westboro Water District on October 17th. And then we received a comment letter, which was incorporated into the staff report and the municipal service review from the city as well. The recommendation to the commission is to open the public hearing and accept public comment, accept the final municipal service review for the city of South San Francisco, and adopt the municipal service review determinations and recommendations contained in the report. I'm happy to answer questions, and I believe there also is staff from the city if there's specific questions for them.
Is there any members of the commission that have a question for staff?
Mike,
Right.
can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
working on a platform that's rather different. Rob, could you, for my benefit, could you tell me what the criteria for the expression healthy reserve entails, what it really means?
Certainly, I'll pull back to the finance section here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
No.
done.
No, I have my notes here. That's all I was going to refer to. So yeah, in the finance section, the city's budget operates with a reserve target of 20% of its operating budget. And so they're in their last fiscal year, or our last fiscal budget that we have in the MSR of 2021, that was equivalent to $21.8 million and meeting the reserve of 20%. So the city has an adopted policy for its reserve fund, and it is meeting its target that it has in place.
So it's kind of a policy that they have that they've established, and then they achieve it. So the language they use in an MSR is that it's healthy.
Yes, it's meeting the requirements. It's in 20% compared to other agencies. That's a relatively high percentage for reserve, and they are meeting that target.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other commissioner comments or questions? Commissioner Horsley.
I know that on future annexation for Country Club Park, I guess the city does now allow individual annexations. Is there some tipping point where there are so many of the individual properties are in the city that the city might take the whole area?
That would be something that probably we'll be working with city staff on when they go through that process of completing a long-term annexation study. What the city has done in the past with outside service agreements is much like other agencies, they require those property owners and future property owners to basically sign away their protest rights if the city decides to do an annexation. So yes, at a certain point, there probably will be enough outside service agreements that are in place where they'll have a majority of deferred annexation agreements signed. So there could be a tipping point, and that's certainly something that we'll want to engage with city staff on when they're developing the annexation plan.
The other issue is the Harbor District. Harbor District essentially manages the harbor there. They don't own any of the property, yet it seems like they have a huge liability that they have a responsibility for maintaining the boat slips. That hardly seems like, well, it's a good idea for South City. It hardly seems like a good idea for the Harbor District. What kind of, I assume the revenue is not very much.
Into the city's operations to the harbor.
Yes.
I don't know, have that number offhand about what that revenue is. But you're probably, compared to other operations, I would imagine that it probably is less than Pillar Point.
I would
for
think.
those operations. Just because there's less, I don't know of any commercial operations at Oyster Point, unlike Pillar Point.
Very.
Thanks.
Okay, is there any other commissioners? Okay, now I'll open up the public hearing. Is there any members of the public that wish to make a comment?
Thank you, Chairman O'Neill. We might want to give it a couple seconds, but at the moment, I do not see any virtual hands raised for item number 4. Thank you.
All right. Angela, while we wait for the people in-house, was there any written comments received that'd be entered in the record?
There were not any comments received.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see any hands from members of the public, so I'll close public hearing and bring it back to the commission for any comments and then a motion.
So move.
We have a
Second,
first,
I'll second.
we have a-
motion.
first by Commissioner Loman, second by Commissioner Horsley, and Angela?
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes,
Commissioner Loman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rohrbach,
Yes.
Commissioner Jim O'Neill,
Yes.
Chairman Mike O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Your motion passes.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we're going on to item number 5, and that's the adoption of the municipal service review for the Westboro Water District. Rob?
Thank you, Chair. So yes, this is the adoption of municipal service review for the Westboro Water District. This is the final version of that municipal service review. Again, just a brief overview of the district that you saw in the report in September. The Westboro Water District was formed in 1961 to provide water and wastewater services to, at the time, an unincorporated area of South San Francisco. And in 1964, the area was annexed to the city, but the district continues to provide those services in that neighborhood. It's about 12,000 customers, but 20% of the population of the city. It purchases water from the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, and it has an agreement with the North San Mateo County Sanitation District for wastewater treatment and system maintenance. This is a map showing the boundaries of the Westboro Water District, again showing it in the Westboro neighborhood of the city of South San Francisco. Some key issues for the district. There is adequate capacity to serve existing and future needs of customers within the district's boundaries. There is a need for a multi-year capital improvement plan that identifies deficiencies, prioritizes improvements, and identifies financing for those improvements. Current water and sewer rates do support year-over-year operations for the district. The MSR does explore governance options, as I had mentioned in the South San Francisco Municipal Service Review for the district, and there are potential ways to enhance transparency and public awareness. Some updates to the MSR. There were several minor updates between the draft and the final MSR, including the inclusion of a recent Transparency Certificate of Excellence Award from the Special District Leadership Foundation that was bestowed upon the district. And this particular award talks about the transparency of the district in a number of ways, whether that be information that's available online to the public or information that they have available for members at public meetings. The district did submit a letter after the packet was published on November 14th. The comment letter addressed a number of recommendations and findings within the MSR that I'll just touch on briefly. The district agrees with the MSR and the sphere of influence determinations. The district is considering developing a multi-year CIP. The general manager plans to meet with their capital committee to review and prioritize the list of potential projects. And they're also in the process of finalizing a request for proposal for a rate study that can be conducted as early as possible to determine funding for these particular upgrades and projects. The website, the district does update its website and has done so recently, along with posting agenda packets and making them available to the public. Westboro Water staff does not think it's necessary to create staff reports necessarily in addition to those minutes and agenda packets, though. The Westboro Water District is reviewing its financial policies, including budget preparation process and the existing operating reserve policy, among others. And the Westboro Water District does plan to add a narrative explanation to the beginning of its budgets. The budget committee for the district could also provide a summary of any budget changes in any proposals to provide more context around the budget. And while Westboro Water District does not post recordings of its meetings before the pandemic and does not plan to do so after, it is considering alternatives to Zoom meeting recordings that would not necessarily impact the district in a monetary sense. Very briefly, again, like for South San Francisco, there are MSR determinations and recommendations in the areas of growth, population, disadvantaged, unincorporated communities, capacity and adequacy of public facilities and services for the district, the financial ability of the district, shared services, which then also talks about the relationship with the North San Mateo County Sanitation District and the North Coast County Water District, and also the issues of around governance. In this particular option, this is a discussion about the lack of connection currently to any infrastructure from the city of South San Francisco sewer structure and how the flow is directed north towards the city of Daly City. And there's also a discussion and determinations and recommendations regarding accountability, structure, and efficiencies of the district and other issues around natural hazard mitigation and water. Again, we did have a public comment period that mirrored the city of South San Francisco municipal service review as well. And a letter was received from the district on November 14th. The recommendation to the commission is to open the public hearing and accept public comment, accept the final municipal service review for the Westboro Water District, and adopt the municipal service review determinations and recommendations contained in the report. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Any comments or questions from commissioners?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure, go ahead.
The letter that we received, I have two questions about it, actually. One, does it become part of the permanent record of this MSR? And secondly, Rob, they say that they're going to do all these things. What is the process for making sure that they do?
Yes, the letter will be incorporated as part of the final municipal service review in that record. And it is a great question, Commissioner Martin, about, following up with the district. That's something that we can do with direction, I think, from the commission of having a check-in in a year or so. I think even the staff can probably do it ourselves, is just to kind of follow up with the district about some of the recommendations that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I will say through our conversations with the Westboro Water District staff, they have been very responsive to our comments or questions. So I think that's certainly something that we can do and schedule with them over the course of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to follow up in a year or so.
Yeah, I do too.
Any other comments? My only comment is hopefully they're working with the city in regards to RENA numbers for South San Francisco to be sure there's adequate water for the whatever ADUs or whatever might get built in their area. So, but okay, so seeing no other commissioners, I'll open up the public hearing. Is there any members of the public that either by phone or in person wish to make a comment?
Thank you, Chairman. We do not have any virtual hands raised for item number 5 at the moment. But as Mr. Bertoli noted, we did receive the comment letter from Westboro Water District, and it was posted to the website and shared with the commissioners. But we do not have any virtual hands raised for this item. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing and go back to the commission for any additional comments and a motion.
So move.
With the,
Second by Martin, first by Lohman. Angela?
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Loman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Barback,
Yes.
Commissioner Jim O'Neill,
Yes.
Chairman Mike O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Your motion passes.
All right, thank you, Angela. Next, we're moving on to item number 6, and that's consideration of a draft special study for the Broadmoor Police Protection District. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. So yes, in 2015, there was a municipal service review for the North County cities and special districts, which included the Broadmoor Police Protection District. But as part of the 2022-23 work plan for LAFCo, the commission did authorize a special study of the Broadmoor Police Protection District. And the study would focus then on BPBD's or Broadmoor Police Protection District's operations, finances, and governance. And so the administrative report has been completed, and now before us is the draft circulation special study. So I'll highlight a couple of key issues that we did acknowledge in the report. The district has a significant budget deficits in 5 of the last 6 fiscal years for a total loss of $1.4 million. The commission has adopted unbalanced budgets in 4 of the last 7 budget years. There's a lack of a long-term finance plan for the district. The district does not have a master plan, strategic plan, or capital improvement plan for any assets that it has under management, such as facility upgrades or vehicle replacements. There's an issue with transparency of financial documents and public review of those documents. The lack of the long-term finance fiscal plans, budget deficits, and growing costs of the districts may in turn negatively impact service delivery within the district. And there's a high cost of services compared to other agencies. So touching briefly on the history of the Broadmoor Police Protection District, it was formed in 1948 to provide police and ambulance services to the unincorporated community of Broadmoor and the surrounding unincorporated area. In 1957, BPPD contracted with the town of Colma to provide ambulance and radio dispatch services. That contract was amended in 1964 to include partial police protection services for the town. In 1967, ambulance services were discontinued and police patrol services to the town of Colma ended in 1976 as the town of Colma established its own full-time police department. It services about half a square mile, approximately 4,000 residents that reside within the district. The district's boundaries are irregular and are not contiguous areas, and that's resulted from annexation to the city over time. The district is the only operational police protection district in California that employs its own officers. And Broadmoor is formed under California Health and Code section 20,000. And it's the only operational, like I had mentioned, the only operational district that employs its own officers. And the formation of this type of district is now prohibited by state law. The district is governed by a 3-member board as well. This is a map of the existing boundaries of the Broadmoor Police Protection District. The larger area where it says Broadmoor is the Broadmoor Village community. There's unincorporated Colma, which if you're familiar with the areas around the area of the Colma BART station. There is a section of unincorporated county in unincorporated Colma area that actually is not within the Broadmoor Police Protection District. That's the southern part adjacent to the town of Colma. And again, it has basically 3 discontinued areas. It has the Broadmoor Village area, unincorporated Colma, and then 2 islands around that are surrounded by Daly City in that area that are smaller, some of which are just a couple of parcels. There are also 2 other police department headquarters that are located in close proximity to Broadmoor. The Daly City Police Department is less than 1/4 of a mile away from an existing headquarters of BPPD, and the town of Colma Police Department is about 2 miles away. So as part of the study, we did look at the capacity and adequacy of public facilities and services. The district has 9 full-time sworn officers, including a commander of police who acts as a general manager, and the chief of police, and the chief of police also acts as the general manager of the district. There are 6 per diem officers, there are 7 volunteers, and there's 1 administrative staff member. Prior to 2021, there was a reserve officer unit that was staffed with about 10 reserve officers. And per district staff in October of last year, the reserve officer unit was decommissioned due to a lack of participation by the reserve officers. And prior to 2019, per district staff, assistance from the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office was required to supplement police patrols within the Broadmoor area. In the review of the district and its services, we did do a comparison to other agencies. So we have did a comparison of both officers per resident and the comparison of costs for police services on a call basis. So we have a comparison for Broadmoor Police Protection District, the City of Daly City, the Town of Colma, and then County Service Area 1, which contracts with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office for enhanced police protection. So we have a list of the residents, the full-time officers, the residents, and the officers per 1,000 residents. So Broadmoor has a relatively higher ratio of service of officers per resident compared to Daly City and County Service Area 1. I should note too, for County Service Area 1, it contracts with the Sheriff's Office for 18 hours of patrol service, 12 hours during day shifts and 6 hours per night. And the response outside those hours are provided by the Sheriff's Office. And if there's more services that are needed, that's funded by the Sheriff's budget, not necessarily CSA 1's budget. But when we do look at comparison of cost for police services, Broadmoor Police Protection District has a relatively high cost per service, almost 4 times the cost of the City of Daly City. And there could be an indication that there may be opportunities to consider some kind of cost sharing with adjacent cities or other alternatives for either contracting or consolidation of services to reduce those costs. We did look also at the financial ability of the district. As I had mentioned before, there were significant budget deficits resulting in $1.4 million over the last 6 fiscal years, with an average loss of $230,000 per year. The district has adopted unbalanced budgets in several fiscal years, including this fiscal year. The district has relied on fund balance to address these deficits. And as such, the fund balance, which is the only reserve that the district has been drawn down over past several budgets. From reviewing audit numbers, it's approximately $1.1 million at the end of fiscal year 2021. We did have non-audited numbers that were provided to staff for fiscal year, for fiscal year 21-22. And then looking at budget for 22-23, which again was the unbalanced budget. If that budget is realized and we include the actuals from last fiscal year, there's another reduction to the fund balance to almost $500,000. The district has a net position that has been negative every year since 2017. In its audits, it has $1.7 million in assets compared to $3.5 million in liability. Staff did do a comparison of their budgets, again, going back to fiscal year 2017, looking at revenue and the various types that they receive, property tax, excess ERAF, which we'll talk about here in a moment, and then its expenditures. And again, you can see in the bottom last line, the losses for those fiscal years. Budget items that were most significantly underestimated were salaries and wages, retirements, contracts, professional services, and insurance. And while the final audited actuals for fiscal year 21-22 were not available as of yet, the district did provide actuals, non-audited actuals for that fiscal year, and that if they were analyzed by LAFCo, it appears that the district did experience another year of budget deficits with a loss of approximately $280,000 in fiscal year ending in 2022. The district has 3 main sources of revenue. Property tax, which the district receives about 26% of the 1% property tax within district boundaries. And between fiscal year 17 and 20, property taxes account for about 50% of the district's complete revenue. There's also a supplemental parcel tax that voters approved in 2000. And it's the second largest source of revenue and accounts for approximately 22% of BPPD's revenue. The supplemental parcel tax is a relatively reliable source of funding, as each parcel is subject to a flat fee annually. The tax includes an escalation factor of up to 5% per fiscal year based on the consumer price index. In 22-23, the rate for residential properties was $483, and for industrial and commercial, it's approximately a little bit over $1,000 per property. Excess ERAF, or the Excess Educational Revenue Augmentation Fund, is also a rather large percentage of the district's budget, approximately 12%. The district receives this revenue through the county as part of the ERAF calculation that talks about limiting funding shifts to school districts. When property tax revenues exceeds calculated amounts for the school taxes, excess funds are allocated to other agencies such as special districts that receives property taxes. The county controller, though, does not recommend the agencies budget these supplemental funds for ongoing operations, as they are determined on a year-by-year basis and are not necessarily a reliable source of revenue. So, for example, in 2022, as part of the proposed California state budget, excess ERAF was proposed to be capped for current levels of cities and counties and completely eliminated for special districts. While the proposal did not ultimately move forward, it's likely the issue of excess ERAF will continue to be of interest to the state. If it had been eliminated this year, that would have been equated to a loss of over $500,000 to the district. Also, the district does not adopt GAN appropriations limits as recommended by the Municipal Service Review in 2015. Briefly on that issue, in 1979, California voters approved a GAN appropriations limit initiative, which established requirements for cities, counties, and most special districts that use property tax or proceeds from property tax to calculate an appropriations limit each year for the agency. And this requirement applies to cities and districts that receive 12.5% or more of the 1% property tax. The district receives approximately 26% of the 1% within the district boundaries. Regarding financial documents and practices, the district does not prepare separate reports of actual revenue and expenditures at the end of the year. The comparison to budgeted and audited actuals on that table was done largely by LAFCo staff through a review and comparison of budget documents and district audits. The district does not produce long-term financial planning documents for the use of the budgeting process. Budget documents do not track fund balances, only the audit documents do. And these audits are typically produced at the end of the fiscal year. So for an audit for 2021 is typically produced at the end of fiscal year 2020. So there's about a year lag time between those two documents. The district does have independent audits, which are shared with staff and board members per district staff, but it does not appear that these audits are agendized for discussions at board meetings. The most recent audit for fiscal year ending 2021, as I had mentioned, was completed in June of 2022. And since 2018, there has not been a discussion about recommendations in the audits. In the process in 2017, there was a separate management letter, which is typical of audit documents, which drafted, highlighting several recommendations for financial accounting, internal controls, and so forth. And while some of these were implemented, there was no documentation in subsequent audits about whether these recommendations were put into place or what was the outcome of them. And like I had mentioned, in audits since that 2017, there have been no recommendations. The same firm that conducts the district audits also acts as the accountant for the district as well. Regarding pension liability, it is their largest outstanding liability of $3.3 million. The district also is contending with a CalPERS investigation regarding retirees. The district has received a letter from CalPERS informing them that certain district employees may have received full-time compensation. They're receiving full-time compensation as employees, but they were also receiving retirement benefits, and that 2 retirees received a large lump sum payment in addition to the regular pay. In the letter submitted by CalPERS to the district, CalPERS noted instances of non-compliance with employment of retired annuities, lack of publicly available pay schedules, incorrect reporting or non-reporting of pay rates, earnings, and special compensation. In response to this letter, the district staff has noted that they have initiated a more robust hiring process that now includes a review of employee status with CalPERS, and the district is continuing to work with CalPERS to address this issue. The district is seeing rising pension costs and increases to the district's net pension liability. And there seems to be a slight disconnect between funds that are budgeted by the district for CalPERS payments, as they seem to be less than the amount required to be paid to CalPERS per CalPERS documents. LAFCo does have several recommendations regarding the fiscal ability of the district, and that includes preparing quarterly reports that which are presented to the district, and they discuss the district's financial condition. At a minimum, the reports should include balance sheets, income statements, and budget to actual reports. Budget documents should also show the amount of funds that are allocated to the district's fund balance and reserve and kept track of. The district should adopt annual GAN appropriation limit resolutions. The development of long-term fiscal planning documents that will assist the district in planning for expenditures, including retirement costs. The development of a master plan, strategic plan, or capital improvement plan that will plan for assets, management, and replacements of those assets. Independent audits should be presented to the board for discussion at public meetings. The audit should include management letters and review of recommendations for the audit process and fiscal ability of the district. And the audit should be considered and conducted in a timely manner. And the district should consider allocating accounting and auditing services to 2 separate firms to enhance fiscal oversight and transparency. The district does not have any accounting, fiscal, governance, or general administrative policies. So LAFCo recommends reviewing those potential options and putting those in place. And also posting of budget documents and audits on the district's website, as there's a lack of information on the website currently. The only audit that's available to the general public is the 2017 audit. Regarding accountability, structure, and efficiencies for the district, the district does post copies of meeting agendas to their website. However, full meeting packets are not available and staff reports are not produced for items. Meetings are recorded but are not posted, sorry, I should say posted, on the district's website. So they are available upon request, and the requesting party is then responsible for all costs associated with preparing the recordings currently. There has been a recent Brown Act issue with the district in 2019. Brownmore Police Protection Commissioner was appointed to police chief by the commission. During the selection process, the commissioner participated in the search and the selection of the new police chief and advocated for a non-agendized vote on the decision that resulted in his appointment. The commissioner was appointed to the police chief as on a 2-0 vote. And in 2001, the now former commissioner and former police chief pled no contest to a Brown Act violation brought by the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office. The police chief and general manager provides all administrative and human resource functions for the district. And there is as I had mentioned, there's a lack of financial information posted on their website. For fiscal year 21-22 and 22-23, the budgets are currently not available. And the only audit that's available on the district website is from 2017. And while salary information is included for the district positions in the budget documents, adopted salary ranges for positions and classifications are not available on the district website. Some recommendations that are within the special study for this particular area is the creation of staff reports for board of commissioner agenda items, the posting of video or audio recordings on the district website, providing Brown Act training for all commissioners, exploring hiring additional staff or consultants to perform HR, human resource functions, and administrative tasks, and the post-position salary and compensation data and contracts on its website. As part of the study, while we don't have recommendations on the particular issue, we did look at service and governance options. In 2015, there were 3 that were considered. It was the status quo, meaning the district will remain as is with its 3-member elected board and police services provided by officers and staff hired by the district. Merge with the Broadmoor Police Protection District in the city of Daly City. San Mateo LAFCo has identified Daly City through its adoption of its sphere of influence as the long-term logical provider for both Broadmoor and unincorporated Colma. As that, there could be a formation of either a county service area or a community services district, and then contracting for services either with the county sheriff's office, the city of Daly City, or another provider for police protection. That would then mean that a county service area, you would be a dependent district under the jurisdiction as a county, or supervisors, or a community services district as an independent special district with a 5-member board. The reorganized agency could contract for police services or other services as well, including fire and solid waste. And there's the option, another option that's not necessarily a governance option, but a service option that would not require LAFCo approval, would be contracting with another agency without reorganization. The district could consider contracting for service with another public safety agency to provide police services within the district service area. Under this scenario, no LAFCo action will be required to enter into the service contract and the district remains intact. In California, as I had mentioned, there are 3 remaining police protection districts: the Broadmoor Police Protection District, the Fayette Guarding Police Protection District, and the Orange Cove Police Protection District. Those other 2 districts are both located in Fresno County, and they contract with the Fresno County Sheriff's Office for enhanced police protection. So they do not have their own staff, and they just, similar to CSA 1, they contract for enhanced service. LAFCo will be working with district staff to present the report to the district commission. And there was a notice of the hearing, copy of report sent to interested parties along to the Broadmoor Property Owners Association. So the recommendation to the commission is to open the public hearing and accept public comment, provide commissioner comment, and then direct the executive officer to schedule a final special study for the Broadmoor Police Protection District for a public hearing at the January 18th, 2023 commission meeting and circulate with all necessary amendments. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions from any of the commissioners or comments?
Well, sounds like they're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Commissioner Horsley.
I just commend Rob. You did really a very thorough job of analyzing, and I really concur with your recommendations. I can't imagine how a 3-person commission could avoid Brown Act violations. You talk to one of the commissioners, it's Brown Act violation. So everything it's sort of an impossible kind of setup, and it clearly is headed for bankruptcy, insolvency. So thanks. You did a really, I think, a thorough job of providing the report. Thanks.
Commissioner Rohrbach.
I absolutely agree with Don. You did a wonderful job. It's apparent to me that the district needs governance change at the very least. I don't know.
I think we're kind of getting into deliberation. Maybe I'll open the public comment and then come back to you, Commissioner Rohrbach.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you, but you
That's
know.
all right, no biggie.
Yeah. I'll open up the public hearing. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak?
Thank you, Chairman. We did not receive any written public comments for item 6, and we do not have any virtual hands raised for this item either.
Okay, so we received all the public comment. I'll now close public comment and go back to Commissioner Baerback. Thanks.
Thank you. It seems to me that merging with Daly City makes the most sense financially, in terms of government integrity. It's just clearly a direction that we should recommend strongly. There's a reason that California doesn't have any more of these police districts, and I think we should get rid of this one too. Thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners? Okay, I have to admit, I agree with both the comments from Harvey and the comments from Don about Broadmoor. I mean, I think this is one of the poster childs of something not working in government. And I think and what's sad is if it's dissolved, the property owners and homeowners there are probably still going to be paying the legacy costs of pensions and everything else for decades. So, Commissioner Horsley.
I think Rob documented the history with the 3 past chiefs of police pretty effectively. But I did grow up in Daly City, so I know a little bit about Daly City, Broadmoor, and I actually began my career not in Pacifica, but actually Daly City. So I know something about this. And over the years, I've known a Broadmoor police agency. For some reason, as people in Broadmoor have a great deal of pride in being Broadmoor and not part of Daly City. So while I agree with Harvey, that's going to be a tough pill for them to swallow. But I do agree that this is simply untenable. You can't support, this organization. Just they've proven to be incompetent, and they're not providing the services. Certainly not the financial oversight that this requires. Thanks.
I agree.
Commissioner Loman, okay. Commissioner Martin or Commissioner O'Neill?
I agree as well. This has been a long, looked at by grand jury boards for a long time. Don't know what caused all of this stuff, but it seems completely disabled at this point. And I think once the people of Broadmoor actually see what's going on, they may change their mind, Don.
Hopefully.
Right. Well, I mean, if I remember reading an article in the Chronicle that CalPERS was going after the individual for like $1 million, over $1 million in pension issues. So, I mean, does seem to be a problem. Okay, so go ahead.
I concur with the comments made up to this point, and I also concur that merging with Daly City seems to be the cleanest option, even if it may be a tough sell.
Yeah.
So next item is we need a motion to, let's see, accept it.
I'll make the motion to direct the executive officer to schedule a final a special study in the Broadmoor Police Protection District for a public hearing on January 18th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Loman,
Yes,
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Barback,
Yes.
Commissioner Jim O'Neill,
Yes,
Chairman Mike O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Your motion passes.
Rob, is there any precedent for like having the LAFCo meeting in Broadmoor? I know there's a building there that says police to the community center or whatever. Is there any precedent being made that would get some of the residents to come out?
Yes, that's certainly something that we could consider. We have done that in the past for proposals, like when the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space had its annexation on the coast side. I think at least the protest hearing was held on the coast in Half Moon Bay. And that's something is to consider for either a January or special meeting to hold it up in Broadmoor. Certainly, I'm going to try to present to the board either in December or January and work with engagement with the Broadmoor property owners and residents that are up in the area.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess the next item will determine if the chair wants to have the meeting up there. So moving on to item number 7, and that's now move on to an adoption of a chair and vice chair for 2023. Rob?
Thank you, Chair. And so, yes, this staff report does request that a chair and vice chair be appointed by the commission for 2023. And typically it's practice to appoint the chair and vice chair at the last meeting of the calendar year for the upcoming year. And the custom has also been that the position has rotated through types of commissioners in the following order. It goes county, city, public, and then special district members. If the commission does desire to follow that traditional rotation with current vice chair and Draper to become chair, it would then be appropriate to appoint special district member as vice chair. I do see that vice chair and Draper is not present today, though. So I will leave that, I guess, really to the chair about and the commission about whether they wish to have the continuation of this item or not.
I think she's served in it before, and I don't think it would be an issue. That's my opinion, but I think, can we couch the motion, so to speak, that if she says yes, she is the chair, and then if she says no, then the special district would move up?
Tim, do you have any thoughts about that?
I think it's inherent in the election of an officer of a body that if they refuse to take the office, that the office is vacant and immediately susceptible to a new motion or election. So I think that would be fine to do.
Okay, so I don't want to offend, Ann at all. So I'm assuming the special district is Loman or Martin, and I don't know which one would want to do it, Rick or Katie?
I will speak for myself. No, wait a minute. I will speak for myself that I would like to demur to Rich. He has more experience on the board, and I think he would probably do a better job than I. I've only been on the real board, for less than a year.
Okay, so Commissioner Loman, would you accept the nomination as vice chair?
Oh, come on, Rick.
That's probably up for grabs here.
So would you like a motion, Chair?
Yes,
I'll
please.
I'll make a motion to have Ann Draper as the chair and Commissioner Rick Loman as the vice chair for 2023.
I'll second that.
All right. Angela?
Commissioner Horsley,
Yes.
Commissioner Loman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rohrbeck,
Yes,
Commissioner Jim O'Neill,
Yes.
Chairman Mike O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you,
I'm
Chair.
on.
Motion passes.
All right, next is item number 8, and that's information only item, and that's the LAFCo. Commissioner Bartolo, Mr. Bartolo and Commissioner Martin attended the LAFCo conference and will give an update.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we did attend the annual 2022 LAFCo conference. This was the first LAFCo conference since 2019. Commissioners Mike O'Neill, Commissioners Katie Martin, and myself attended, and there were several sessions on municipal service review, a presentation regarding fire district consolidations, a mock LAFCo public hearing, and a mobile workshop, which consisted of a harbor tour that highlighted special districts and city services along the Orange County coast. And then also at the conference, LAFCo Board of Directors elections were held. Those elected re-elect to the board for a 2-year term are in your report. I'll just touch on the coastal region, which San Mateo LAFCO is part of. District member representation is Michael McGill, Mike McGill of Contra Costa LAFCo, and county representative is Chris Lopez of Monterey LAFCo, and both were reelected to their positions. And I defer then to Chair O'Neill and Commissioners Martin if they have any additional comments.
Commissioner Martin?
Well, I particularly enjoyed being there with you, Mike, because as you know where all the bodies are buried and you shared a lot of that information, which is very helpful for me on this board. I found it very interesting, very professional. Good conference.
And I concur with Commissioner Martin. It was professional, it was interesting, and they had some good sessions there. It's always kind of one of the more fun conferences, so I agree. And let's see, this is information only. Unless Rob has anything else to consider, we'll move on to the next item. And that's item 9. Staff information reports, information only. Rob?
And this is also just an information only item. So this is an update on the special district elections for the alternate member. So with the appointment of Katie Martin to the regular special district member position, the alternate member position now is vacant. And so LAFCo is in the process of conducting the election for the vacancy as required by Cortese Knox. And there are 3 candidates that were been nominated by the Independent Special District Selection Committee for the vacancy. And voting started for the election on September 16th with the original deadline of October 17th to return the ballots. However, as required by government code, the majority of the ballots has not been returned to LAFCo. And so we have extended the deadline to December 16th. So if you have contact with special district members or are a special district member and are the voting member or know of the voting member, please remind them to turn in their ballots by December 16th. I think a reminder email went out as well today.
One comment on that. I chair the California Special Districts Association chapter in San Mateo County, and I will send out a notice to them that that we encourage them to vote. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, that's it, right, Rob?
That is it.
Okay, next item is item number 10. It's a resolution honoring Commissioner Mike O'Neill for his service. Rob?
So yes, I would kind of take them as 3 resolutions, I guess, because there's item 10, 11, and 12.
Okay.
Because we have Commissioners Mike O'Neill, Commissioners Don Horsley, and alternate Commissioner Diana Reddy.
Could we
coming out from
promote
LAFCo.
Diana up here in case she
Yes.
wants to make a comment? Because she was in the audience, I think.
So yes, the resolutions are in the packet and they are quite lengthy, so I won't read them necessarily, but I want to thank the 3 commissioners for their service, both to LAFCO and to San Mateo County. And during my time at LAFCO, I've had the opportunity to work closely with Commissioners O'Neill and Horsley on a number of LAFCO issues. And I really have admired their thoughtfulness and perspective on the complicated questions that LAFCO really grapples with. And I greatly appreciate their support of staff during this time as well. And for alternate Commissioner Reddy, while we haven't had a chance to work that often together, I do want to thank you for always being attentive at the LAFCo meetings, just in case there is a city member that's absent, and really providing some good comments and questions during the period that you're here. And really the accomplishments for all 3 members are numerous. Like I said, for both LAFCO and for the agencies they have served, and we certainly will miss them here at LAFCO.
Thank you. Commissioner Horsley or Diana?
Yeah.
Any comments?
Yeah, I've been on it now for LAFCO for 12 years. And it has always been interesting. I've enjoyed the relationship with all of the commissioners. I will miss all of you. And especially enjoyed Martha Poyatos and Rob Bartoli. I went to a few of the LAFCO commission, or LAFCO, what is it, conferences, and it is interesting. It's really kind of a, it's maybe not a well-known little commission, but it is a very powerful and important commission, and I've really enjoyed my time.
And Diana, are you promoted yet, or?
Yes, I was. Thank you for inviting me to be promoted to panelist. And thank you to members and to staff. It's been my brief relationship with LAFCo has afforded me the opportunity to know more about what's going on. And I have great admiration for what staff is doing and for the members who go over these reports and make really wonderful comments. And it's very clear. And today was an excellent example of how thoughtful you all are about what's going on in our communities. And it doesn't matter whether you're a resident from, you're still being very thoughtful about what might be happening in another community. And I appreciate that very much. And thank you for letting me be a part of this group. I really appreciate it very much.
Yeah. I basically have to echo Commissioner Horsley, Commissioner Reddy. I've been on, I don't even know, I think I've been on here not about 8 years, and I've enjoyed every meeting, every commissioner at the conferences. I've learned a lot. People know I seem to retain odd facts, and LAFCO's great for some odd facts, you know, stuff. And I enjoy it, and especially the work it does on the coast side and everything like that. I discovered a whole different agency when we did the Water Conservation Agency. I never knew that existed because of LAFCO, and I had them do a presentation in Pacifica because we didn't know anything about them. So it's educating. I think one of my fellow city council members wants to take my seat, so he will be running at the December or January meeting, Council of Cities dinner. But I want to thank Rob and Martha and Abstentia and each of the commissioners and Angela, who's the backbone and keeps the chair with a script and in line every meeting. So I wanted to thank everybody for that. And I also don't know if everyone knows, but Rob found out at the conference that he's going to be a daddy again. So congratulations to Rob.
Yeah, great.
Yes. Yes. So is there any other comments from other commissioners or the public?
I want to thank Mike and Don. I've learned a lot from them, and I think I appreciate their service on LAFCO. And I miss Martha too, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some more of her in some other capacities. So thank you all for what you've done for the county, the community, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would echo every comment that has been made with regard to you both. I will personally miss you both because you're kind of like a mentor for me. And I appreciate, just listening to you and all the knowledge that you have. And that's going to be gone for a while. With due respect to everybody else on the board.
Okay. All right, then. If there's nothing else, I will, we need I'm just double checking the script from Angela here. Okay, item 13 is adjournment, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and good luck to the new chair and the new commission happening on the January. We just had the library, and 7 of the 15 board members of the library are leaving. So that's going to be interesting for the JPA, for the library. So that's going to be interesting. Major change there. So, all right, then. Thank you, everybody, for supporting me as the chair, and I wish all of you good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Bye, Rob.
Bye.
Thanks.